Welcome back to Old Coin Adventures. You probably have a 2000 D Lincoln cent somewhere in your collection, and at first glance, there's absolutely nothing special about it. Just another penny, another date, another coin most people would never think twice about. But turn it over, and look at the lettering. Because sometimes, the most important clue on a coin isn't a missing mint mark, or a giant error you can see from across the room. It's a tiny difference in the way two letters were struck. And once you know where to look, you'll start seeing something most people completely miss. But here's the real question. Could that tiny difference actually make the coin more valuable? And if you think you've found the right variety, how would you prove it, and what could it actually bring at auction? Stay with me, because by the end, you'll know exactly what detail to check. What separates an ordinary 2000 D cent from a potentially interesting variety? And what collectors look for before paying serious money? So grab your 2000 D Lincoln cent, turn it over, and let's see what the reverse is really telling us. You probably have a 2000 D Lincoln cent somewhere. Maybe it's sitting in a jar, or mixed in with hundreds of other pennies. And honestly, you might look at it, see the date, see the small d, and move on. But that's exactly why this coin deserves another look. Because when you're searching Lincoln cents, the valuable clue isn't always something obvious. Sometimes, it's a tiny difference in the lettering, a strange shape, an unusual separation, or a feature that doesn't quite look like the other coins from the same year. And that's what we're investigating today. The 2000 D Lincoln cent. Before we start searching for anything unusual, let's understand the coin we're actually holding. The Lincoln cent has one of the longest-running designs in American coinage. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln was created by Victor David Brenner, and the memorial reverse was designed by Frank Gasparo. The 2000 D cent was struck at the Denver Mint, and the small letter D underneath the date tells us where it was produced. The coin measures approximately 19 millimeters in diameter and weighs about 2.50 grams. This era of Lincoln cent was made with a copper-plated zinc composition. So underneath that thin copper-colored surface, the core is primarily zinc, and that gives us another reason to pay attention to condition. If the copper plating becomes damaged, the zinc underneath can become visible. But remember, that doesn't automatically make the coin a valuable mint error. It may simply be damage that happened after the coin left the mint. And that's where coin collecting gets interesting. A coin can look strange without being rare, and a coin can contain a tiny mint-made variety that most people would never notice. So, how do you tell the difference? You start by examining the design itself. Turn the coin over and look carefully at the reverse. You'll see the Lincoln Memorial, the words United States of America, 1 cent, and E pluribus unum. Every one of these details was created in the working die, and then transferred onto the coin when it was struck. That means, if something unusual happened during the die-making process, the result could potentially appear on multiple coins struck from that die. And that's exactly the kind of thing collectors search for. But here's the important part. Not every unusual-looking 2000 D cent is rare. A scratch isn't automatically an error. A dent isn't automatically an error. A flattened letter isn't automatically a double die. And discoloration isn't automatically valuable. The real challenge is finding a characteristic that was actually created by the mint. So now, let's move closer. Start with the date. Look at each number carefully. Are there signs of unusual separation? Do the edges look normal? Does anything appear duplicated? Then move to the D mint mark. Look at its shape, its position, and the area around it. Then move across the reverse. Examine United States of America, 1 cent, and the details around the memorial. You're not simply searching for something strange. You're looking for something that can be explained and compared with a known mint variety or error. And that distinction could be the difference between an ordinary penny and a coin worth investigating further. But there's another trap, and this is where many new collectors get fooled. Something can look doubled without actually being a double die. So, we're going to separate the real possibilities from the common things that only look valuable. And then, we'll get to the question everyone wants answered. What could a genuinely rare Lincoln cent actually bring? Now, let's talk about the most important part of the investigation. How do you know whether what you're seeing is actually valuable? The first rule is simple. Don't judge a coin by appearance alone. If you see doubling, compare the shape and separation of the design. If you see an unusual mint mark, compare it with normal examples. If you see a strange surface, ask whether it was created during minting or happened after the coin entered circulation. This is extremely important because post-mint damage is everywhere. Coins rub against other coins, hit machines, fall onto hard surfaces, and spend years inside pockets, and cash registers. All of that can create unusual-looking marks. But a genuine die variety is different. The unusual characteristic was created in the die, before the coin was struck. That means the feature can appear consistently on coins struck from that die. So if your 2000D cent looks interesting, don't clean it, don't polish it, don't scratch the unusual area, and don't try to make the feature more obvious. Keep the coin exactly as you found it. Take clear photographs. A good close-up of the date, the mint mark, and the suspicious area can help you compare the coin with documented varieties. And if the coin continues to look promising, professional authentication may be the next step. Services such as PCGS and NGC can authenticate and grade coins, and recognized varieties can be attributed when they meet the appropriate diagnostics. Now, let's talk about the money. This is where you need to be very careful. A normal 2000D Lincoln cent is not automatically a valuable coin. The date alone doesn't make it rare. The D mint mark doesn't make it rare. And simply seeing something unusual doesn't mean you're holding a $1,000 coin. Value comes from the combination of rarity, the exact variety or error, authenticity, condition, and collector demand. That's why two coins with the same date can have completely different values. One might be worth only face value. Another might bring a significant premium if it is a confirmed scarce variety in excellent condition. And here's something that makes coin collecting even more exciting. You've probably heard stories about Lincoln cents and other rare US coins selling for extraordinary amounts. Some famous era coins have reached six-figure prices. You may even come across claims of a Lincoln cent selling for $125,000. But here's the important question. Was that actually a 2000D Lincoln cent? Or was it a completely different coin with a completely different error or variety? That's why you should never take a huge price from the internet and automatically apply it to the coin in your hand. A six-figure auction result for one rare coin doesn't mean every unusual Lincoln cent is worth six figures. The exact coin, the exact error, the grade, and the authentication all have to match. And that's why auction records are so important. Instead of asking, what is the highest price I've seen online? But what did coins with this exact variety and similar condition actually sell for? That's a much better way to understand the market. If your coin is professionally authenticated, you can then consider established auction platforms, such as heritage auctions, great collections, or Stack's Bowers, depending on the coin and its market appeal. But don't rush to sell. First, identify, authenticate, grade, and only after that, compare recent sales. Because the goal isn't simply to find a coin that looks unusual. The goal is to find something that can be proven. And that's what makes coin hunting so addictive. You can have hundreds of ordinary pennies and still find yourself checking every one, because you never know when a tiny detail will tell a completely different story. So take your 2000D Lincoln cent and give it another examination. Check the date, check the D, check the lettering, check the memorial, and look for characteristics that don't belong there. But also don't assume every strange mark is an error, because sometimes the most valuable thing you can find isn't the coin itself. It's knowing exactly what you're looking at. And remember, that $125,000 figure you may see mentioned online should never be treated as the value of your 2000D cent unless the exact coin and exact error can be verified. That's the difference between a viral coin story and real numismatic research. So, if you have a 2000 D Lincoln cent sitting in your collection, don't ignore it. Examine it, compare it, and if you see something truly unusual, have it properly identified. Because sometimes, the difference between an ordinary penny and a serious collector coin is hidden in a detail that almost everyone else missed. This is Old Coin Adventures. If you enjoyed today's investigation, subscribe, because next time, we'll take another ordinary-looking American coin and uncover the tiny detail that could make collectors stop. Look twice. Could this be the one?